Welcome to Fear Porn Propaganda. I'm Wisecraft, and today I'm with Anon2150, and also we have on the panel View and Haplo. So hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome on in.
How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Yeah, doing pretty good today.
Go ahead and introduce yourselves, guys. You want to say something?
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about Jade Helm.
Yeah, we're working on Jade Helm, and just basically going through it together. I'm gonna go over my notes, and we'll kind of go through over that, and we'll kind of go over like the actual articles. I have like several articles we can go through, and you know, kind of piece things together because I can see a lot of connections. I'm a very connect the dot type of dude, and but I'm not like the person who calls themselves connect the dots. I'm not like that dude. So go ahead. Before you go, Haplo, I want Clunk to go ahead and introduce himself.
You go. That's what I was waiting for.
I go by Clunk. Former military, and also grew up in a military family. That's you know, my family served in the military pretty much since we had one in America. So let's have a lot of background information here through just personal family history, in addition to my own experiences and research.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Hey, can I ask you a question, Clunk?
Should we all introduce ourselves?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, my name's Anon2150, and I've got my subscribe to the Fear Porn Propaganda channel. I'm also a friend of the creator, and we talk a lot about New World Order, lots of flex, things like that, and yeah.
And essentially, with our research that we come across,
Basically, yeah.
Outside of this, like, podcast, we do it anyway. So we to like take it out there and see what people would think, and maybe they can help us out with our own research, things like that. And over time, we met these guys. You, Haplo, or you? Explain yourself.
Explain yourself.
Explain yourself. Actually, I had a question for Clunk. What method did you use to actually bend the thumb guard forward on yours, or did you do it at all? You know, like
No.
You didn't bend yours at all? Okay.
No.
Because for me, I was always afraid I was going to break my damn thumb if I didn't push mine forward. I'm just trying to pick up a different way if somebody has bent one in a better way, because mine's usually sloppy and scratches the shit out of it. But anyway, other than that.
I'm on a kind of knife just because of the way it's designed. It's meant to be mass-produced, but still retain some quality, so the design to it's real simple and not very...
Exactly. That's why I always had to like tailor-make mine, kind of make it my own. So anyway, I was curious to know somebody else's method if they ever method to do it, because when sticking, you get your stuff, you know, in a situation and you're gonna stick something, you know, in an individual. You don't want to break your thumb while doing it. But anyway, so actually, I'm kind of interested to hear from Clunk. What's your idea about Jade Helm?
I was talking the other day. It's really reminiscent of a back in around 2004, 2005, where the military was supposed to be recruiting veterans to be counterterrorism units, to where, you know, you just wake up, go do your normal day job, and one day you get a phone call, you grab that duffel bag out of your closet and go to work. It's kind of a more grand scale version of that, to where they're teaching these special operators how to integrate themselves into a population without really being too detectable.
You get good intel then. That's yeah, that's what I've come to understand too. That this is very deep, and like you said, it's kind of like how terrorists were being described 15 years ago. Now it seems like the military has adopted strategies similar to that. They're putting those into motion. You know, they got sleeper cells. They got people that are to be activated when the time comes. And I've even heard so far, I don't know if you've heard this, I've even heard so far, is that they have ministers that they have trained and ready to go that would work in the camps to pacify people and things of that nature.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime you're looking at this type of scale operation, you're going to want to account for almost every facet that could possibly come out of it. So, yeah, it's interesting that they would have some type of religious leader on standby to handle people that are easily quelled by that type of comfort.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are your feelings? Do you think that this is going to go hot, or do you think this is just a dry run?
It's really, I don't know which to call it either way. It could be the quote unquote big one that everybody's been trying to keep for, or it could just be a legitimate training exercise.
Yeah.
Anywhere in between. Yeah,
that's how I feel about it too. I'm it's hard to tell. I mean, you just don't know anymore. Toss the dice.
Let me jump in here for a second. What do you guys think about the cartoon event in Garland, which they're really calling an event, and over again, like just like saying stuff about setting up things and doing stuff. Like the whole situation is very strange, considering there was only 200 people that showed up, right? And they actually spent $10,000 on extra security. The organizer of the event, Pamela Geller, is all over the news now.
Well,
and I think that was actually a setup, in my own opinion. So it was like the two Islamists, or supposed Islamists, were killed, but one of them's really focused on, named Elton Simpson. And he lived in Phoenix. So there was a whole report from Phoenix that was very long, like boring, but there was some parts that were pertinent, and I actually like put those down. So one of the things that was interesting was they reported that they were wearing bulletproof vests, but they still were killed by strangely a what do you call it, a cop on the road, like a what do you call that, a traffic cop, right? Which usually doesn't actually see kind of information, like pulling out your gun and firing type of deal. But they actually, according to the information that's presented, they actually said that the news, they said that or actually it was the person, what do you call it? Not the cop that shot, but the cop, like the superior of the cop, like the sheriff or the, that person that was doing the announcement, said that he like did it. He was like surprised. He actually caught both of them before he got shot, but they got one shot off, and it hit the passenger of that cop, which was a security guard.
Yeah.
So the security guard actually lived and just got shot in the leg. But the other two were dead, and then they were suspected of having like bombs in the car. So then they blew the car up, like to get the rest of this, see what's in there. No bombs were found, but something strange was, but they wouldn't tell us what it was. They did find bullets for the.
I've got my first question.
Yeah.
To me was I remember if it's correct memory, I think it was in Denmark. It was Danish of origin. There was several years ago had made a cartoon, a depiction of Muhammad, and the Muslim world just blew up.
Yes.
And people got killed, and people weren't happy, and it was all over the place. It was plastered everywhere, and spoken on for months, and talked about, and it's still talked now. The question I've got is, why in Texas, and why do that? Why would who?
That makes me think of the Jade Helm, because Jade Helm's whole process is Texas.
Yeah.
If you listen to the presentation, I think I showed it the last episode. He explains that they really are focusing on Texas as their kind of ground source, because Texas will help them.
Yep.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Anon has something to say.
Yeah.
Texas is a really interesting playground for them, because it's got this old community that's established, that's very military supportive, and yet they have a lot of radicals at the same time who will maybe respond in certain ways for the military. Like if they're doing these type of drills out in a place like Texas, you might see some people getting upset about it, maybe arming themselves and responding to these military officers conducting their exercises, and then you would have like a confrontation situation like that. So
There you go.
in a way, it's like testing the water. Like, all right, this is the most radical place we could possibly have a response. The place that we most likely see a revolutionary, like armed revolutionary response would probably come out of Texas.
Very good.
Hey, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Jade Helm happened like 6 or 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This is nothing new. They're just testing to see if you actually noticed it happen. And we're saying, no, we haven't noticed it happen, but we're keeping our eyes open. It already happened. That's this stuff that they leak, it already happened. Just leaking it to see if you caught on.
You want to check this out, though? Check this out. 1961, maybe 62, U.S. government, military-based operation paperwork drawn up that Kennedy was involved in, called Jade Helm. It was talk about this. The whole statement. In the whole statement, it reads disarming the peaceful disarmament of the populace is the mainstay of the whole shebang. This thing is not new. You mentioned that. It goes back even further.
Yeah, right. A program for general and complete disarmament in a peaceful world. It's just what you said. That's Helm,
Yep.
Homeland Eradication of Local Militants.
Yeah, and I believe Kennedy is the one that actually had put his signature on that back in his day before his head was blown off.
Side note, Kennedy is...
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone looked up the definitions for Jade and for Helm?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have reports on that. PDF like type things or something like that, like documents.
Oh, I want to give a very good. That's very good. I agree.
Did you just pull that out of your ass, dude?
All right, so but one thing I wanted to explain here is that the states involved, it says Texas, and it's an enemy state according to their map, which is a DOAX event and a CRF event. So there's two events essentially scheduled in Texas.
So something else about Texas, they are the only state in the union that actually has it written into the clause when the talks were going on about them coming back and becoming part of the United States. It gives them the right to secede from the union without Congress being involved.
We should all have that. Every state should have that.
But that's never going to happen, Big Terry, to back that. And Texas doesn't have a military.
They have a militia.
Yeah, they have a militia, but that doesn't compare to a military.
Yeah,
a militia's...
Lots of veterans.
A lot of veterans, a lot of guns.
Yeah, but that's that. But what do you get? I mean, you guys understand how you itself into submission?
You could do that.
No veterans. You go war machine in history. So I don't care like how. I mean, I don't care. Not saying I don't care. It doesn't matter how many vets or how many militia members they got. Compared weaponry, they don't have what it takes to do this.
All right, let me ask the USMC over here. What would you feel about killing some veterans if you were in an operation like that? How would it make you feel?
Right. Okay. Repeat the question, please.
Feel knowing that you were killing veterans if you were sent into a situation where you knew that there were an armed militia that were following their cause and defending their own land and their life, liberty, and freedom, and you were told to go shoot them. How would that make you feel?
Well, I wouldn't do a huge thing. That's, there is a certain point in the military where you can say order is not lawful, go F yourself, or like that type of, thing. There is always that response. But just, I mean, the fact that the people that they're using for these are severely indoctrinated.
Thank you. Yeah.
There's a culture in the military that's very us versus them when it comes to military personnel versus civilians. It's, you don't spend much time with civilians. You don't generally go out and associate with civilians. If you're hanging out with your military buddies. There's really not a whole lot of between the military population and the civilian population outside of like going out and trying to get laid. But
That's right.
it's the culture of it is so focused around, that sense of duty that you always are supposed to obey orders, and to believe completely that they know what's best for you and not you. The level of indoctrination you would need to even reach this point and be part of this program is just probably a lot farther than anything that I experienced while I was in.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. I think that this is actually the first phase, because of any intelligence agency that is going to be behind any of this, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to test the waters to see how everything works before they actually put something into action. So I think that this probably won't go hot. I believe that this is to see react. Many different things are just the testing of the waters to see where this will go.
Hot. It already went hot. This stuff is old news. I've worked for Walmart, and I just currently left the government sector. This shit's old news. This is old news. There is nothing new to this. I'm like sitting around like at awe that people are like, this is about it. It's already old.
Yeah, it is. But
so I mean, when I worked
think
at
it's just
Walmart,
another drill.
Did it ahead of time before all of us.
when I worked at Walmart, there were certain big ass rooms that we were just not allowed in, and I worked in stock. That means I took stuff off the 18-wheelers, and there were rooms that we weren't allowed in. Now on base, there's places you aren't allowed to go. There's places you are allowed to go. I had some clearance, but I had to have a military guy with me because we had 2 keys, and we both had to do it at the same time. It's weird shit. But it's a lot of stuff that has already happened. This shit is so easy. They sneak shit in on Burger King trucks.
Yep.
This is not new. People are looking for something out of the normal, and it's like that's the whole. Let's remember, this is the greatest this planet has ever seen. They're smart enough to get stuff in place without us. It looks like they're building something, or maybe they're doing remodeling on this side of the building. Maybe they're adding to the building, but they're really sneaking stuff in. I mean, you don't have to bring tanks in. You don't have to bring tanks in off bat because you can just roll them in. Who's going to stop you?
Those are being converted into C2 centers. I came across that.
Yes. These places, the whole blueprint was built on that premise for it to be to have multiple purposes. I mean, you look at Walmart. Walmart has food. It has all this. You can easily use that as a hub. And you see every time these riots go on, where do they meet? Walmart parking lot. It's been going on forever. Let's not act like we stumbled upon something new. We're far behind. The thing is, we have to get ahead of the curve to see what's coming. And we're far behind.
Hold on a second, View. I want to take this time to welcome in Professor Doom.
Hey.
Welcome in, dude.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Good to have you.
Hey, thank you.
I've been watching a lot of your projects.
Oh, appreciate that.
If you'd like to share anything that you cross, that'd be awesome too. We're just kind of going over research together and sharing opinions, sharing what we've gone through in our own events. I have a former military Marine here with me named Clunk, and
Clunk, that's it.
What?
I couldn't remember Clunk. That's why I said USMC before, because I could not remember Clunk.
Anyway, so Professor Doom, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then I'll let you continue, and then we can just kind of go around.
Oh, I mean, you already basically took it for me, so I mean, you know, yeah, I just pretty much woke up here, so you know, one of those long nights with yeah. So what you guys up to besides what you guys covering?
Helm, the connections with Knowles, the Red Chinese, the Yemen, Djibouti, all the in Texas, with the Garland cartoon event.
Oh, yeah.
And how that could be connected.
As far as pretty interesting developments there with that that little island that they were building up to create kind of like a what you call it, a airstrip base out there on the little those little islands. I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of them either.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this though, they built that stuff up fast, real fast. And when you're doing something that fast, I do believe that they have a purpose in mind. You know what I mean? I remember they were talking, you know, started out in like, what was it, August or September of 2014, right? And now it's like, what, almost 3/4 of the way done. So, I mean, if that doesn't tell you anything. What's that? Well, it's kind of like an island that they built up. It's kind of like, you know, putting a lot of, you know, sand and all kinds of stuff, just kind of like bringing it out of the water, and they've placed an airstrip on there, and they're going to have like hangars and you know, fuel. It's in the South China Sea, I do believe.
Interesting. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
Send me some links if you come across it.
Yeah, I just kind of roam around, catch a bunch of stuff, you know, read here, watch this. No.
I mean, I was saying something earlier. Do you remember where you were?
Who, me? Oh, yeah. Dude, this stuff is not... I worked for the Air Force under a contract. I was a contractor. I worked for an arms company called I almost said the name. I worked for a company called Culpeper. You can check it up. It's just like Blackwater, right? And Triple Canopy, and if you guys are all familiar with those guys, that's what the company I worked for did, okay?
Gotcha.
This stuff has been going on forever. This stuff is going on. Most military people don't know about it because they kind of detail, because their directors are all there. You can't put enlisted people on those kind of details, because if they comes time that they need to be deployed, you're going to have to fill somebody in before they can even leave. So it's not all, you know what I mean? So they put contractors in these positions to see that certain things are done. You do. If you go to the base right now, if you go to just probably any base, it's not starting it. You'll probably see one, because I think it's mandatory that one has to be there, but everyone else is contract.
Interesting.
So a lot of people don't know what's really going on because they're kept away from it, because that's not their fucking jobs. But you know what I mean? It's a need to, don't need to know. They sign their lives away on the contracts.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
there's
I
no
mean,
shortage, no shortage
yeah.
of people willing to kill other people for money.
There's no
Shortage of money, that's for sure.
And I just want to explain something. Like, I participated in an active shooter. I didn't participate in it, but I have, like, not, okay, anyway. So they had an active shooter drill, and it was cheesy. But you know what I mean? I get what people are saying. They actually prep this stuff before you even hear about it, if they are doing it like everyone's saying they're doing it. You know what I mean? This stuff happens long time. These people are so far ahead. They're smarter, and I find it just crazy that we think like 4 or 5 people that are untrained can like figure out what's going on. These people are light years ahead of us. It's so complex. It's not as easy as it looks. By the time we find information out, it's long old. They're on steps ahead, 4 different programs ahead. They've already worked stuff in.
These are key holders, right? These people that there's probably about 500,000 top clearance officials that we could probably, if we could strip them of, we could. Community.
First of all,
they're consultant corporations, you know.
No one knows who has the keys. It changes. It's like a code. Wait. Okay, I'm not saying anything that you can't find out. Okay, listen. It's the 4 people that you can only contact when this door needs to be opened. Okay, that person has to call you. You have to say a certain thing. You say certain things to each other, and you know by what's going on. By wait, what did you say? Code. It's a code. You say something to them and they respond. You know what I mean?
It's called a sign and a countersign.
Yeah, and every 3 months it changes. You know, I didn't know until listen. I never met the freaking guy on the other end until the day that I was leaving. That I was transferred. I was like, hey, dude, come up. I'll buzz you in. I want to meet you because I've never met you before, and I've been talking to this guy for like 2 years, and I never met him. And I met him, and he looked totally different than I thought he would look. You know what I mean? He was a younger guy than me, but he had a higher rank than me. Well, I mean, he was in, and I was civilian. But you know what I mean? It's like you just don't know who. Man, it's big. It's so small, and that's the most dangerous thing, because these people are light years ahead of us, and they got it figured out to the T. They got the best of us to work for what's really going on, and after a while you're like, fuck them, let them die. I don't care. You get frustrated. You get frustrated. Now imagine if somebody saw you doing that and they came to you and said, hey, why are you? There's always going to be people that don't get it. Look, trying to make change, and next thing you know, you just got freaking, you just got converted into a goddamn agent. You know what I mean? And you didn't know it. The people that are mostly in this and doing stuff, they don't really know what they're doing because they can't put the pieces together. Compartmentalization. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, everybody knows there's
but,
doors.
You know, that's what I'm doing. I can see these things. Because I'm outside looking in, so I can see all these pieces.
Well, bro, you're not getting all the pieces. I promise.
You're not getting all the pieces.
If you were getting all the pieces, they'd either tap on your shoulder, be like, "Hey, buddy, join us," or you just be dead.
Yeah. There are some things that
you gotta think like a chess player. You know what I mean? There's moves ahead. Once you see something there, if you're a chess player, you start seeing, oh wait, they're moving things in an area where. You know, you start seeing setups ahead of time, especially if you look back in history and you see history repeating itself over and over again. You start seeing those little things be set up again, and you're like, wait a minute, that already happened before.
Let me tell you this. This is kind of like a funny story. Okay, I have a Facebook account that actually has my real name. No one knows my real name, by the way. So I signed onto this Facebook account, which I have no friends on. I only have it for researching and seeing other people's. And Facebook asked me, did I know like 10 people? 3 of them were related to me by blood. And 5 of them gave me a blowjob like 5 years ago. And I've never had contact with them on Facebook or any social media. I knew
creepy, man. But you know that's I mean
I have the
Let me tell you how it works. I'm gonna tell you how it works.
Wait. Somebody just said they had the answer. I'm curious to hear that.
I was gonna tell you how it works.
When you sign into Facebook, Facebook goes through all the emails that you've sent over since you created an email account. So if you met somebody on Craigslist, this happened to me too recently. This is why I know this. If you met somebody on Craigslist 4 years ago and had casual sex with them, they're going to be in your email contact from way back in the day. So if you use that email to create a Facebook account and it links to your contacts in your email, it's going to say, hey, do you know this fucking person?
Okay, understood. Now watch this. It was one person on that list. She was my dealer's daughter. Okay, I used to smoke a lot of pot. So how did they know I knew my dealer's daughter? Let me tell you why. Because when you get close to people, your phones ping. Your phones communicate. If you
Exactly.
get close to them enough, it saves that because it's established that you actually know this person and you're not just coming together on coincidence. You know what I mean? It's a pattern, and then when it sees a pattern, it keeps that person in mind, and then all this information is getting sold and whatnot. Because I've never contacted this girl. You know what I mean? So how do they know that I know her? That's what I'm saying. This machine is advanced, people. This machine is advanced.
Yeah, pretty
Suggests
much. Yeah.
friends of friends. I have that.
It's not
all
aware
the
of
time.
itself though yet.
I have people that I've never had contact with.
It doesn't need to be aware of itself to be right.
Yeah, I don't know them at all. Like, never spoken to them. They have not been involved in my life in any way other than we have a mutual friend on Facebook, and it just constantly is barraging me with all of these people that I don't know, asking me if I know them because they know somebody that I know. So it could be just that. You know, who's to really say?
He's right about the phones pinging each
I
other.
don't do any of this kind of like a separate personality.
Yeah, well, I was just saying all that to say that we're behind the curve. We're fucking far behind the curve.
It is actually
Just because we're
well
behind,
known.
we need to catch up.
Yeah, well, it's well known that like the U.S. government and many other governments have technology that is in excess of 40 years advanced than what the actual populace has.
You know that more than me.
Yeah, it seems like they pretty much have won. It's like game over, coup d'etat, and it pretty much culminated around September 11th. And since then, you know, there's no going back.
Well, we can get outside into the future, and they already know what's going to happen, so they're setting up every situation, just like, say, foreshadowing. Think of Paycheck, which was actually a Philip K. Dick short story.
Philip K. Dick.
Said Dick.
Basically, I wanted to show you there. I do have this. See, Jade, right? A tool for rapid crisis action planning. The Joint Assistant for Development and Action offers a new technique for rapid force development planning, especially in crisis situations, a la that Texas situation. So Jade is being ABN Technologies under contract to the Air Force Research Lab and the Advanced Research Agency, DARPA. DARPA.
We all love DARPA.
It is being designed to operate within the next command control system. Jade implements state-of-the-art technology to reduce the time typically required for building a time phase force deployment data package, which presently takes days or weeks, down to approximately 12 planners today and in the 21st century. Several challenges are being met to transition Jade from a research prototype to a fully operational system, and these include integrating various data systems, seeking user input and buy-in, porting to new computing environments, assuring compliance with the Defense Information Infrastructure Common Operating Environment, and testing in exercise scenarios. Sorry for my horrible reading. A potential technology transition candidate for Jade is the Adaptive Course of Action, ACOA program. ACOA is a DARPA Advanced Conceptual Technology Demonstration, ACTD, that provides the means to employ new technologies in the Joint Operations Planning and Execution environment.
Didn't you DARPA?
Yeah, I found tie-ins to that.
I wonder where all the other like corporate tie-ins are to these type of work.
The NNDB map that shows a lot of tie-ins.
Ah, yes, the ND. Wait.
No, NNDB.
Ah, yes, NNDB map. Very interesting. We should post a link for that.
Yeah, I think I might. Yeah, I'll probably put it on the comments or whatever. In the other
Follow the trail.
Yep.
Are you guys aware of this mapping system?
Yeah, are you guys aware of NDB or whatever? That mapping thing?
What was that again? I was kind of watching Jerry Springer episodes. What'd you say?
NDB. Are you aware of this map?
Oh, that sounds like a venereal disease. No, I'm not. I'm not aware of it at all.
What's the acronym for?
I'm not sure. Here, I'll show it to you.
It's this a search thing that tells you ties between certain people and businesses and.
Oh, you are aware of it. Yeah. Here you
Yeah.
go.
Right on.
I can show an example real fast because I found I came across a connection with Walmart, so looking through other people's stuff. I think Katie Curry or something like.
What her latest track?
No,
I'm just messing with you.
I might be messing her name. It's the Rise Against her or something like that. Right?
Hey, can I address the chat room for 10 seconds max?
Here.
The chat. I am a shield. I am a government operative. I'm here because you guys are so important and you're making such far advances that we have to stop and realize I am a government operative and I am here to divert the conversation to talk about things that make no sense, okay?
We already knew that.
I don't get why these people think that.
You already know, bro.
That's why I invite you, because that craziness about you.
Area 51. Tell me what this has to do with aliens.
You're like the only one out there that's like.
I am a government operative. I mean, I have the background.
Aliens, though.
Yes.
I think aliens is just something to keep people stuck on one topic because it's so interesting. People love discussing stuff they can't.
We do love doing that.
So I mean, it's something to get people stuck, and people should be writing movies instead of going online saying that the stuff is true and they've had some experience.
Well, wait a minute. Why don't we just cut to the screwed? Should we bug in or bug out when the shit hits the fan?
We need to communicate because the thing is, when we log online, when we create this life and we start searching this stuff, it creates a profile of who we are as a person, and it shows us figure out what works for us and we're basically teaching them how to control us.
Exactly.
So I mean, they're God. They're God. I'm not saying, but it would. I mean, the stuff that you're gonna do it, then say you're gonna do it, right?
Oh, I'm gonna tell you, this is the answer.
Dog.
We should join Salvo. We have to do it. It's the only choice we have.
Amazing. Already got
freaking fireworks.
Explode.
There's like 7 fucking arcs or something, and only the elite are like on that shit.
Yeah, that. Say, wow.
A horrible piece of shit, but it was showing you the future of your people plans.
Yeah.
It was definitely showing, basically going, hey, this is our plan. So, I mean, we know, we've done the research. We know that you guys show it to us first.
Yeah. Yep. Arthur C. Clarke
have you guys
was
seen that movie, The Box?
The Box. Yeah.
What's that girl name? Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, he got weird, half of his face kind of thing.
Yeah, that movie. Did you find that? Doing
pretty much
that they're doing because it makes us more to it. We take it in quicker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't taking shit off of you.
I've seen it on with other people, and it's definitely one of those subconscious elements, where you're being manipulated subconsciously, suggested scenario.
Exactly.
If it's comfortable, then because you're kind of programmed to, like, in your birth, like from your birth, like how you grew up. I mean, if you grew up in a normal kind of American type of environment, then that would be like what it would be. But maybe country kind of be the same.
Well, the thing is, it's because when you tell people something, actually fall into it, it's like it's a fine line between it. You know what I mean? And it's like when you try to explain this to people, their mind has to be really.
I mean,
I raped you. And I mean, like, that's pure freaking. That's what they're doing. These people are genius. They got algorithms. They exactly they create ways for them to get into their heads.
So I always I kind of stand on the idea of forgetting about Hollywood. Stop reading magazines. Well, stop watching TV. I try to pull away, find some alone time away from technology. Get your head outside everything. Just think on your own for a minute. A lot of times, you give it enough time, you're up for a week, spending time by yourself, and you have no anything. It kind of is a freeing experience. And when you come back into society to get back into things, it's like everything's a little louder. It's a little more noticeable. I think people are so deep into this technology, to the media, to everything, that they literally think that life is in their S6.
Yeah, it's like everybody wants that. This is my finest masterpiece.
The best selfie they can take. I mean, it's all about them. Me. The world I have is my iPad is my life. My little Vampire Diary life that I have.
Say data centers collecting everything we do.
Yeah, that's why this shit's so cheap. You know how much it costs to make an iPad?
Like $80.
The thing is an event. There's a scheduled event according to the Jade Helm information in Utah. Right here,
Jade.
Utah.
Jade.
LSE event.
I do agree with you on that, though, and that's why I take the stance to step outside.
What if LSE event has a do center?
I'm gonna be on. You gotta get boots on the ground. You gotta get people that are willing to. And see, like it's like those people who decode. They call themselves debunking stuff that have using stuff media information.
Yeah.
I planned.
Yeah, the whole whatever you call it, the news report, local from the Texas thing, right? That where the woman's on the side and like talking about everything that's coming from the Associated Press and other stuff, and words of like basically like staged event, the setup, the perimeter, like lockdown using like Walmart and saying. For like people like us that are like doing this research, we're all red flags.
Well, you know what it sounds like that? It sounds like a Google search.
Yeah. Like,
Boom.
Is that what you're saying? You want me to show you that report? So you see how crazy it is? It's hilarious. I was like watching it yesterday a lot, and it's like, are you kidding me? People are crazy.
You ever notice how like all this stuff is like turning people into zombies, and then we gotta fight order and the zombies? And it's like, what can
you? The zombies, of course.
And family members, and they turn on you.
Oh man, we have to get our machetes.
Yeah, did you hear that story about that guy who was in the Baltimore riots, and he like smashed a bunch of cop cars, and his family seen him on TV, and they convinced him to turn himself in. And they set his bail for $500,000, and they're talking about giving him life in prison. Now, if you're protesting the system, and you're against the system, and you are that turn yourself to the system, what do you think they're gonna say? Okay, well you turned yourself in, Jew, so we're gonna give you easy treatment. No. Oh my God! People are fucking dumb. This hurts my head, man. I feel like we're preaching this stuff, but these people don't.
Out there.
They don't want to know, bro.
They don't.
What is happening, and they're trying to figure out things. And
All
You know
right.
what though? We need to figure out who's worth saving, who's not worth saving.
But check the worst thing that could possibly happen to a human being is to subject them to change. Nobody wants to. So they're happy in their comfort zone, and they want to stay there in their comfort zone. They like their little ignorance is bliss lifestyle, and of course they're not going to believe anything until the sky really does fall right on their freaking head. So there's not much you can do. It's kind of like when you're trying to save somebody from drowning, and you're trying to take them in, but they're fighting you, and you're going to you'll run the risk of drowning trying to get them in. So you got to knock their ass out, or you got to push them the hell away from you so you can live.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Hey, can you guys hear this?
Barely.
Okay, let me see what I can get this closer. Put it closer.
What does the fox say?
What does the fox say?
He said one officer and 2 suspects were shot.
Okay, are you hearing her?
Yeah, 1 officer, 2 suspects shot.
Okay, so like listen at that. I don't think she said anything code yet, but like as she goes from here, just listen on, and then I'll kind of go back if you guys want, so we can rehear it.
And that's when they started to put the place in lockdown and then fell out from there, if you will.
Okay, did you get that? So then she said that after the guy was shot, that's when they put it in lockdown. And lockdown, like, you know, is one of those words.
A lockdown situation, and
She said lockdown twice.
about, from what I'm understanding, 1,000 is away from this venue, and that included, and I don't have a schematic of this or a map, but apparently there's a nearby Walmart store.
And there you go with the Walmart. You see?
There's Walmarts everywhere.
It's leading. That's what I was saying last time around. All of this stuff is leading because they have the media, they know how to do it, and it's all about misdirection. If you're going to obtain your objective and you have it identified and you understand your enemy, you want your enemy to be looking everywhere except where you're going. And that's what they're doing.
Okay.
No, they're so good, bro. They're so good. They got the enemy looking exactly at what's going on. They're like, no, this ain't it. This ain't it.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how bad it's gotten. But you know, I'm just kind of giving a general overview of the thinking. So many different facets of types of people that you know. They got the atypical people that will walk out into traffic because they're more interested in their phone than they are living. Then you got people that are like, hey, what the hell is that? And they're kind of curious, but they're too afraid to actually break through. So they would be doing something stupid, turn other people in or themselves in after doing something stupid. Then you have the hardcore people that have a good clue. Everything is just screwed anyway. I mean, there's so many different people. They cater to all of them, every single one of them, every type of person you can think of. Any type of belief system, thought, they have it under their thumb. They are looking. They are analyzing it. They have AI. They have the software that uses servers, just everywhere. Colleges all over the world, they have them. They use the computing power from all over the world, and the software runs, and bam, they, like you were talking about earlier, this thing can do things in an hour that would take days, weeks, or months in manpower to do. And that's what they're doing.
Do you think that First Life is really a Second Life experience?
No, I think this is the First Life experience, and we get to go to see some cool stuff afterwards.
No, what I mean is, like, do you think that we're living our lives Second Life video game, meaning that...
Oh, you're talking about a video game. I don't play video games, so I don't know.
It's like, you know, this whole life is being...
Apollo does actually think that we're in kind of a... I mean, his bodies.
We're ghosts in the machine, dude. This is literally like a...
This guy called me... This guy Tim Osborne called me Charles Mason scumbag. That was me.
All right. Anyway, yeah, we live in a reality. We're like in a fishbowl right now. It's kind of like the proving grounds, and we're ghosts in like a biomechanical suit as operated from somewhere else. And you know, this is only a temporary place. This is just to see how things work. You know, how you're going to do things here or there, what your choices are going to be, and it's all part of something greater.
To add to that, I actually believe I like woke up from this place like at some point because of doing I don't know how to explain it, but basically like I have this ability to see these things called bions. Well, Wilhelm Reich coined bions, but I always called them amoebas. Anyway, they're like some sort of weird fish type of, but you can't you can't touch them. They're like holographic or something, and you can only see them in like twilight, like the mix of the light and the dark in a certain lighting, like kind of like candlelight, right?
Those are what you're describing has been described before in different ways.
Whoa.
People see.
I'm just telling you my version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like with my understanding, I learned when I was young that I could communicate with them, and that they would kind of form into shapes and stuff into whatever I was thinking. And as I became more advanced with my visualization techniques, because like when I was in like Taekwondo, my instructor helped visualization techniques with Tibetan meditations. And that's all visualizing like stuff and building it in your mind and making it do stuff, and kind of like almost like computerizing your mind in like a paint program, you know, like Photoshop for your mind, and then eventually you get and you're able to just create anything, right? Well, later on in life, I'm able to communicate with these things again, and I'm more of an adult person, so I'm more into like, you know, science and technology and how things work, and then before I decided to do this, and the reason why I did this was because I wanted to build with my mind this object that came back to me, something like that was implanted into me, which was like a gyroscopic, like, well, it's a gyroscope, a 3-ring gyroscope with a magnetic cube inside in the middle.
All
That's
right.
fun.
I'm going to tell you what. Go and go read Ezekiel. It talks about Ezekiel seeing something very similar to that.
Were you talking about wheels within wheels?
Boop, boop.
Wheels within, yeah, I know what you're talking about there.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not that necessarily, but they don't have a cube. There's no cube inside the wheels. The wheels within the wheels, yeah, that would make sense with the gyroscope, how a gyroscope works. But when you put a cube inside and you magnetize it, then you can create a push using Lorentz force. So like, for some reason, when I was younger, later in life, I was able to kind of like bring it into an actual understanding of how it worked, that it was a real science, and that it was kind of underground, like black ops program shit. Like I found out that the government works on a program called, which has a similar outlook to this thing in my mind. But my mind was more advanced, almost like if you've seen Event Horizon, that gyroscope kind of thing, but then take that kind of scale and then put it with the idea of how they worked that gyroscope in contact, right? And that inside of like a whole white room that you can't see the walls. So then you have that's kind of what happened. So then my mind created that, and in order for me to build this out, I decided to communicate with the bions and have them create it for me so I could see it in front of me. By doing so, I created some sort of weird black hole, essentially, cunning, and it was like from my perspective, it was like I was looking through a camera that was seeing into that other room, and the camera perspective was like from a mirror in a way. So like after what I saw was basically just people kind of moving around, weird suits that were, you know, kind of like safety suits, I guess, with like a blotted out face, their face, and it was like black kind of, so it must have been some sort of protective thing. And then there was computers on the walls. They were very high-tech computers, kind of like holographic in a way. And you know, I guess in a way they're kind of like that type that they produce a lot these days, where they're like on a screen or on a three-dimensional like surface that's like glass or something. You can see the glass and it's like you move it around, that kind of shit. But what was being portrayed was numbers and representations of revolutions per second and speed and propulsion and energy. And I also found out through that I didn't have this in my mind originally. It was only after I built this and saw it visually that I needed to have a plasma ring around the whole thing. Later on, I explained to my dad this whole thing, and he told me that the plasma ring would actually keep it inside, because someone else, he created a similar device in his basement, and it actually, he didn't have a plasma ring keeping it down, so it made the gravitational pull of the Earth, and it went out into space, out of his basement, straight out of his freaking house. And I don't want that to happen. So I did that whole thing, and I decided to create it like in NASA or something, like a building, like, you know, that they could do something like that, where they can take out the air, so there would be no inertia. And when this thing, when you spin the what do you call it? Scientifically, if you spin like a cube that's magnetically on all sides, half going one direction, half going the other direction, you create some sort of push pattern, like a Lorentz effect. And if you keep on doing it, turning off and on, then you're going to create multi-speeds and multiple speeds multiplying each other, creating Mach speeds. And over time is what happened with my visualization that actually, you know, I saw in front of me, like a window, was it became a black hole. And the black hole engulfed the whole thing, and then engulfed my window, and then engulfed me. And I woke up in another place, inside of some sort of weird, like kind of a Matrix type of place, right? You know, like with eggs kind of thing. Strangely, this all happened before I actually saw it. So when I saw the Matrix, I did relate that, and I was like, whoa, this is very similar to my experience. And I always called it the waking up experience. And I only call it that because after, when I did some research on Buddha, I found Siddhartha, when he came out and he called himself Buddha, he said, I'm awake. So I thought maybe that's what he experienced. Maybe it was a outside and weird quasi three-dimensional and inside of eggs world where you kind of can't.
We are ghosts in a machine. People have described similar events to what you described. That there are, it sounds crazy to most people, but the description is projection. They went to a place that was not this reality, but highly more advanced than we are, with beings that were things and involving themselves in the unseen in our world, basically pulling the strings. And there are basically two forces at work.
There was no beings. There was a above in the wherever I was, in a way, kind of an organic ship, I guess, if you will. If you put like plants and machines together and build a plant, that would be kind of what it was, right? And I was like laying against, my egg thing was like laying against a kind of cushioning type of thing, plant type metal thing, and I looked above eventually, and I saw that it was like looking at a black sea, kind of, but but in a line, more like a river, a black river, where you ripple and stuff, right? Then something came off of that, like a drip, and then that drip formed into a kind of like a mechanical spider, if you will, big mechanical spider. And recently I saw something similar that actually exists now that creeped me out because it's about a similar size and it looks like a spider. I don't know if it has cameras on it, but the one in the waking up experience had these in and out and shit.
Have you ever heard of in the Greek, the river Styx?
Yeah, the river.
That's what you just described as the Black River, with things that come out that kind of look like creatures, like spiders. Described thousands of years ago as well.
It was like the spiders were, or the spider, it was like one. It was like going from kind of egg to egg, right? And then it like focused on me for a while, and it creeped me out, so I had to like close my eyes. But, you know, it was weird because while I was there, you know, I forgot who I was. I had no identity. I had no id or.
Put this in perspective. You probably have heard this and read this as above. Now put that into that.
Because in a sense, we were like it was like I was on a piece of a clock or a cog in it, because time being, people would move from one area to another, like sideways, almost like a cog moving sideways after a certain time, you know? And then there'd be new people that'd show up, and other people would disappear, like go like somewhere else. And it was like
I could throw this into the loop too.
That would be your wills within wills thing.
You also have things that I honestly think that these chaps probably dropped enough acid to probably see some strange things, and it's known that they actually did DMT as well, and they wrote songs, and one was called I think basically the tune is "Welcome to the Machine," "Welcome to the Machine, My Son" by Pink Floyd. I don't remember the exact title of the song, but they talk about the machine. And a lot of the songs that they've got in the lyrics are actually and saying something that's of what most people might grasp.
Hey, I'm an avid Pink Floyd fan. That's off of Wish, though.
Yes.
I think, you know, being there and experiencing it was kind of, I was in like water or something, some sort of pink water. And breathing was weird because I wasn't breathing. I was like more like forced breathing, and it wasn't air, like some sort of creamy, like vanilla or something. It wasn't I don't know how to explain it.
He was talking about breathing tapioca, man. He's nuts.
I was thinking of
like abyss. Kind of like that, you know, where he was underwater.
They do have substance.
And they had to breathe water, kind of other water.
They
it
have
was kind of like that in a way, except it was forcing me to do that.
Yeah.
Kind of like being right. So yeah, I mean, to me the experience is it was deeply profound, because once I came back here, once I guess woke up from there and came here, I hear differently, right? You know, now it was like Neo kind of coming back to the Matrix type of thing. So then now kind of experience like game or like a simulated reality.
Right? Reality.
So we're waiting right now. Do we actually communicate, considering we can't communicate outside of, I mean, as I saw it, I mean, I'm not going to put all you people there, you know. Well, I don't know if we're all in the
What do you mean by you people?
You people.
All in internet land.
You Chinese.
I'm sorry, I mean people out there in internet land. Don't, you know, like, Charlie. But it's awesome because we're actually able to communicate on a different, like visually in front of each other, not here in front of me, you know.
Try this. What if something is helping us in creating something?
Okay, we're going crazy with this talk. How can we change things right now? I mean, this is big thought, but I mean, geez, what are we?
Welcome to the machine.
Welcome, my son. Welcome to the machine.
I'm a firm believer that
I'm gonna have to go back to smoking weed to be able to take all.
I think because it's like well, about my waking up experience. So it's nice to share it with you people out there.
There it is again.
Yeah, us people.
And
Something too, like a Rothschild meeting.
Sales when they have that seat for Satan, and the table. They talk about. Now, I do believe firmly that there is a force. Actually, two parties. One is benevolent, and the benevolent one is going to tell and everyone to get to basically want and to desire everything that this reality we live in has to offer, and never ever tell us about anything outside of this reality.
I think of it like this. I don't know what's out there, but I'll tell you what's in here, doing some evil things. And I would like to stop him because I have family. And just because I happen to be who I am doesn't mean that they're going to get saved.
Well, I think that there's going to be that time. I was actually talking about this before we actually went live, that all of the going on, even these we call the elites, these bloodline folks, all of these chaps, they also, I'm a firm believer that they themselves are deceived. They believe that they are going to get something, but they are going to be on the sacrificial table. Because the thing to worry about is the individual that shows up to save the day and is out there, look at this. And this guy is going to be 1,000 times worse, worst tyrant we've ever known in history. That's to worry about.
He's going to eat people.
Not too far off. Stuff like that. I really see that these elite people, they don't have a clue either. They only know enough. They think they know more. They think they've got the edge, but truly they are actually in the dark in many ways themselves, and they have been led astray.
With that said, tell me this. Okay, if that's the case, then why don't these things just come and, like, why are they sending actual quote-unquote humans to do the dirty work that's taking ever?
Well, when there's a game going on that's way beyond what we can understand between two forces, there are rules. And they're followed. And they're following rules.
You mean to tell me I'm just a chess piece and someone's playing with my life?
Yes.
Yeah,
we were just talking about that.
I agree with that.
And I can't win?
Well, yeah, well, we were just talking. We were talking about how the government's doing it.
You might as well just go get some blowing hookers.
Listen, View, in our perspective, it's like the people that work for you or you're working for or that you're associated with in that way are a piece to a bigger thing. Like you said earlier, it's a need-to-know basis. So if you don't know, then you don't need to know, but you're a piece of the puzzle still. You're still doing stuff. You don't know what else does. Someone bigger outside of that, looking back, if you pan back, they're seeing the bigger picture. You see what I'm saying? So what kind of needs to happen out of that is we just need to see all the pieces, or people like you need to start communicating with and tell them what you're not supposed to know. Everybody needs to know what you're not supposed to know, and then everybody would see the bigger picture.
I'll tell you this. A big problem is... The what?
The Cube?
The Cube, what's that?
The Cube.
Yeah, it was a movie, like early 2000s.
It's for you.
Canadian movie. And it was
Hold on 1 second.
It was based, okay. Classic.
Answer the phone.
He's like, good work, boy.
They're like,
I told him.
It's hold on 1 second. I'm trying to put this fan together. Yeah, that was my handler. He told me you guys are getting a little too close. I got to steer.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was going to say, hey, good job of steering the conversation.
So, what about those Dodgers, guys? What about Chris Jr.? Kardashians. You guys
Well,
hear
that
about
can pretty
stuff?
much, that gives me your location. I could guarantee I could probably
Dun-dun.
centralize your location right now since you mentioned that.
Okay, where am I?
He's in Vegas. We know he's in Vegas. That's where he talks about being.
Wait a minute, hold on. I told you no one knows his name. Do you really think that he's going to give you where he really lives?
Location?
Well, yeah,
I
you
don't
say
know.
LA Dodgers. That's
You know,
usually
because he speaks like he doesn't want to tell you things, but then he tells others, so he really wants to tell us stuff, but he doesn't want people to know he's telling us stuff. That's my perception on it.
Because people find it easier if they stumble upon it. If they feel they stumbled upon it on their own accord, then they're more likely to take it in.
And just Alex Jones with his like 90%.
Wait. I think we have another party to say something. What was that? I heard something in the background. It sounded like maybe somebody wanted to jump in real quick.
I did. It's like in the kind of world we live in right now on this platform that you believe everything you see, and him saying that if you discover something more likely to take it in, that's always the case in this platform because no one here actually believes everything that we see all the time. So you always question yourself, well, what I found here is it really real? Is it true? You know what I mean?
Ooh,
So
I don't know about that, bro. That's how we think because we're on the higher level. It's like regular conspiracy theorists, truthers, they don't think like that. The first thing they come across, they think it is. You gotta ask.
We're all researchers.
Yeah, that's why I said. That's why I excluded us. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, here's how I can say it better. People are so used to being tricked. If you want to get through to them, you have to trick them into setting them free. You get what I'm saying?
Oh man, you know how shady that sounds.
It sounds really, but that's reality. That's reality.
But that's kind of creating a false flag to say, hey, we just wanted to make sure that you knew that.
Well, I mean, that's based on your intentions too.
Wait a minute.
If you're doing it for the betterment of somebody, because you understand that they've been trained since birth to think a certain way and to receive information in a certain way, using is because we're not using those tricks that the quote-unquote elites do to get into people's heads, tricks to get in people's head and put what's really truth into their heads. As much as we like to think that we're the smartest and people out there just get it, they don't get it. That's the bottom.
Because essentially we are always just preaching to the choir.
They're taught not to get information from us.
Where are the elitists getting their truth from?
They're inventing their truth. Truth is not.
Are they inventing it, or is it being invented for them?
How did you find us, View?
How did I find what?
How did you find us?
Like the channel?
Yeah.
His handler told us.
Yeah.
Told him about us.
Because like I'm nothing. You know what I mean? Like I just started like a couple months ago. I'm like just you know what I mean? Just a person.
Well,
like, I don't understand.
No one sent me to you. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. See, it's in the way you say things.
No. If I'm gonna tell you this.
I read between the lines, my friend.
I know. Let me explain this. If I wanted to get to you, I wouldn't send a guy. I would send a woman. I could sit and analyze your voice and I could tell everything you've been through in your life and how it plays out and stuff that you are attracted to and you're interested in. I wouldn't send a guy. I would send a woman because that's the most easiest, effective, and fastest method to get into someone's head. That is a male, of course.
Are you going to stand in front of me, really, when I'm walking?
Yeah.
Shit down, woman.
Damn. Would you stop standing in front of her?
But yeah, that's how it is. No one sent me, buddy. I was just looking for stuff, and I don't even know how I came across it, to be honest. I think I was just subscribing to people, and I saw you.
Interesting. Well, will you find it interesting things that we discussed it or something?
Well, I'm like kind of not busy right now, so you know what I mean. You just have the perfect for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, shit balls on fire.
Well, I want to go back into the Jade Helm stuff and talk about the Walmart closures. You got your several closed down due to plumbing issues over several states.
I've been trying to actually get this across is that it's not just Walmart shutting down. There
Yeah,
are
right.
many.
Also Targets.
There are
Food for less.
many.
Sam's Clubs.
They're
when
fast
it comes
food
to processing.
chains. I mean, the biggest one that I know of that I remember right off the top of my head.
But you know, they're only
is-
ones that they report is what we can like
Yeah,
talk about because
there's entities.
133. Look, I think I have it down here. 133 in Canada closed. Targets.
Yeah. Well,
So
there's several different
Yeah.
fast food chains that have projections of having nearly half of their locations throughout the United States, Canada, Mexico, and Australia, if there's any over there. There's barely anything over there. Shut down in the next 2 years is the projection. Why?
There's a simple reason for a lot of that. It's not as conspiracy as we think. There's just not. I mean, the economy sucks right now, and with everyone shopping, retailers are going to close down. Why would you go to Target and buy something when you can get it on Amazon or eBay for $15 to $20 cheaper? People are trying to preserve their money, so you've seen a lot of people shop more online. Amazon, if you look at the value of Amazon and what it's worth right now, oh my goodness, it's worth half of what Walmart is worth. And Walmart has physical location. Imagine what that's going to be in the next 10 years. Walmart's going to be fucking done, and Amazon's going to be God. And then Google will buy Amazon, and then
That's kind of what I'm saying, is that what we shouldn't just be like poking around looking at just the fact that Walmart and other things are closing down. I think you just nailed that one on the head.
To the bases, like it's connected to the bases. If you look right here,
it's
for
the
instance,
economy.
in Hughes, Homeland Security, Ellington Field, Joint Reserve Bases, 74 miles away from the closed Walmart in Livingston. You have the closed Walmart here, 59 miles.
If you find that there are maps of this underground system that's going on that exists.
Closures of Walmart.
Check this out.
That's not it.
Check this out. The David Koresh. Guess what actually is going pretty much right on that property, right
Walmart.
underneath of it. Not Walmart. Tunnels. There's the underground. There was another one with some other ranch, and I don't remember where.
Dumbs, right? I mean,
the Bundy Ranch.
You're talking about deep underground military bases?
Yeah, well, the network, the system, like openings and places for them to come out. And like there's been strange things popping up here and there in the media about the feds wanting to go in and take out some rancher or some people.
They've been doing stuff because they have a arena coming in. So they destroyed this whole like area, like plaza, basically. Like the plaza has been there for years. They destroyed that, and now they're building a huge like arena system over there, which totally creeps me out. Makes me think like, okay, what are they gonna do with that arena, really? You know, and then you have
the Coliseum.
You know that there's underground like locations in downtown Sacramento because of the pockets left from the floods back in the 1800s or early 1900s over here, and they had to rebuild on top of the flood. Eventually, that water receded, then they have pockets. They have basically underground.
Can I say this? We got to be careful because, listen, there's always a Walmart. There's always you're getting so far off. It's scary because it's now like let's create something.
But we could use you as a meter. It depends on how we feel about it.
I'm always steer you to what's right and exact, not what's true. What's right and exact.
Wait.
I don't.
Right and exact is the real. Truth is what you can be presented to see.
I don't understand how that perspective makes any sense because
truth is
always been the
perspective
real thing.
based.
Like if I'm lying to you, I'm saying like the sky is actually red, you know, and you have to red. Like I can tell you a whole bunch of ways that the sky is red. Eventually, you believe the sky is red. I'm still lying to you.
I know, but
But then I say, hey, you know what? The sky is actually blue, man. I'm sorry, I lied to you. I'm now telling you the truth.
No. See, depending on where your standpoint is, if you really truly believe it's red, then you're telling the truth. See how it's perspective based?
So you're saying that basically it's
that's
relative.
It's
why relative, like time and space.
That's why lie detector tests are not admissible in court because they're perspective based, and you may think it's something, but that's not it. So you're telling the truth, but it's not right and exact.
But the truth would be written down then. It'd be like if the person.
No. Listen.
The
You're
security
making
guard
this
that
too
takes the
big.
report,
You're making this
they
too.
have-
No. You're making this too big. Listen. If you truly believe the sky's red for whatever reason, you have a mental illness, whatever,
whatever reason.
and you say that the sky is red, you're telling the truth because it's perspective based. But we all know the sky is blue.
Okay, but then that would be a perspective based truth. I'm talking about
I just
bigger
said that.
truth, like in the sense of many people believing the same thing and then like pushing that agenda. Is that the truth? I'm saying like that's what essentially the people around me believe in the news, right? The news like is telling them stuff, and they believe that that's what they're telling them.
The news is
So
telling them the truth based upon a perspective.
Yeah, but then they're getting those.
But it's
people
not
to
right
believe
and
it,
exact. It's not actually what's
Agreed.
happening or going
Agreed.
on.
That's not really the truth. Is my point. It's really lies.
Bro, maybe listen. I'm boiling this down as much as I can. It's perspective based. So if they believe it's the truth, then they're pushing it as the truth. You get what I'm saying? It's true to
do they
them.
believe that?
But
do
it's
they
not.
actually believe it, or are they pushing?
I don't
it,
care.
knowing that it's a
What
lie?
I'm just giving you the definition. That's irrelevant. I'm giving you the definition. You're gonna hear this a lot in Freemasonry. We use the term right and exact. We don't use truth.
Right, because you don't like the term truth. Yes, this is starting to make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's not. That's what I'm saying. You guys come up with these elaborate things, and it's just fucking the truth. The truth. What's
But
right
what
and
determines
exact?
right and exact is what I'd like to know, because that seems
Because it can be
perspective-based to me as well.
reduplicated. Reduplicated. It's the same definition as fact. It can be
Reduplication would be science.
No, science is to observe.
Yeah. They do like to present science as fact,
just
but
like being in a what do you call that, security organization. You observe and report. That's the same science.
No,
is
I
you
was higher
observe
up on
and
the food
report.
chain.
I'm saying that's what you do in a sense.
shit
In
happens.
science,
Well,
you actually observe and
I
then
think,
you put down what you report. You put down what you observe.
we should sum this
And then
up
you
basically.
reduplicate it.
Is where does truth come from?
Truth is a plot. Truth is.
Where does right and exact come from?
Right and exact can be okay. Like gravity is right and exact. The
Is
laws
it?
of gravity. The laws of gravity are right and exact. Well, excuse me, you can't reduplicate it from my knowledge. So
Because it's actually been shown that gravity isn't right and exact in physics.
okay, maybe that was a bad. Okay, if you throw a coin up.
Well, what is gravity really?
Oh,
We
we're getting.
don't really
Look, we're getting
know.
off.
I love getting on to.
I know, but that's the
roots,
problem. We just keep going into stuff, and it keeps us away from actually coming
and
to a conclusion about what we're going to
It's all
do.
about etymology.
I know, and it's like I'm just trying to. I just don't. You see, this is what happens in a community. We start debunking stuff, and it becomes a conversation of intellectual masturbation.
Well, I'm
We're
not a
sitting around
debunker.
like-
I don't like to debunk.
We're sitting around talking about the stars and the skies. We're like, ooh, I had a dream, but we know enough to get moving. So let's get moving. You know what I mean?
Well, the
Well,
thing
yeah.
is,
I
where do
wanted
we
to
move
talk
to?
about the closures of
I don't know.
Walmart
We need that
and
conversation.
how they connect to all these dead people. That are showing up in SUVs. And
People are dying in SUVs.
yeah, there's a woman found an SUV.
A Mormon?
Woman.
Oh.
A Mormon?
It was more than that. I haven't
Dead
written it
Mormons.
down, but, like,
No! Holy
still,
Moroni.
I have to go through all the reports and write them down, because after I have them down, I put them on a flow chart, and that way you can see how they all connect.
Mm-hmm.
But the currently, yeah, it was. It was Florida, right? So in Florida, there was a woman found. She was a missing woman, and then she was found in a parking lot in Walmart.
What's her ethnicity?
In Tampa. Now, strangely, Tom Mead's presentation actually references Florida, and that turned out to have the MacDill Air Force Base, which is the United States Special Operations Command. It's essentially their headquarters. It's 13 miles away from the closed Walmart in Brandon, which is
Why would
the
they make it that
Anchorage Air
close?
Force Base. Yeah,
I
right.
mean, that
Why
far.
would they?
No, that far. Listen. You're gonna find stuff like that. That doesn't mean anything. That's that. When you gotta find that directly. Like, if I'm your brother and I do something and you're involved in this company, and your company specializes in this, then I can say, okay, I will that. But just to, okay, this country, this town has a close Walmart, and they also have a Air Force base. Like that. You
No,
get what I'm
what we're
saying?
trying to connect is that they're closing the Walmart so they can conduct their secret things in the Walmart. So at the time, maybe they're Jade programs, you know?
But
Maybe they're
it's like,
putting Jade programs in Walmart.
what I'm
And then they're
saying.
also setting up underneath so they can go underground. You won't have to see tanks and shit coming above because they have them set up to where they can go underground.
Okay, you got
Mm.
Bigelow is he's into like NASA type shit, right? He's a billionaire. He has a building that's not too far from me, and on this building he has a big alien face. Like you can look this up. It's crazy. And I can see him make stipulations about what's going on in that building because I actually worked with a guy that was doing an apprenticeship at Bigelow, and he was talking about like all the stories that the guy would talk about. You know what I mean? And I don't know what the hell they're doing in that building. It's a massive ass building. It's way bigger than Walmart's. You know what I mean? It's like probably about 4 times the size of Walmart. What I'm saying is, we don't know unless we get people in there. You know what I mean? So all this stuff I was looking on the internet and trying to find stuff that connects. Look, the world's not that complicated. So we're gonna find a lot of things that may seem to connect, but they have no relevance to each other. I'm saying that we need to stop getting lost in that and pick what we're gonna do or the direction that we're going and find it. What's the purpose of finding out about this Jade Helm? Are we trying to stop it, or are we just trying to find out what's going on?
In a sense, it's a matter of kind of avoiding it. It's a matter. The only way I think we can stop it, I guess, is get it out there to the public, so they actually
something.
And no, once they actually supposed to be a covert operation, right? The whole plan is supposed to be like they're not supposed to be seen. If we have people that are already waiting for them to show up, they're not be seen.
Let me tell you how docile Americans are. You can bring down Building 7.
And then later.
Yeah.
So,
aware of the stupidness of people.
3,000 people fucking died during 9/11 in America, and 3 million worldwide till this day.
Allegedly, a lot of people think they just got up into hell.
I'm gonna tell you it.
There was a big portal that got opened up, and they just went through it.
That's what I'm saying. Is that's neither here nor there.
There was no bodies. There was nobody.
There was nothing, dude. Did you see that building?
Pretty much, in my perspective, at this point, it had to have been some sort of evaporation weapon.
Dude, it was
nuke strategically placed about 2 weeks previous.
There you go. Look, I'm from Las Vegas, and we demolish buildings like every 5 to 10 years, and I've seen buildings get brought down.
There's buildings in Vegas like people change underwear.
Yeah, and I say it like this: if you're not gonna get people to meet to do anything after 9/11, then what the hell do you think you're gonna get with this whole Jade Helm thing?
Man, what I'm trying to find is like a good solid 40 people when the shit does go down, where we can all meet up and figure some shit out. Maybe even do this before and go out and put in and get on some big giant piece of land out in the middle of nowhere, Wyoming. Maybe
wait
even
for them to come and get you.
Oh man, maybe ask the Cheyenne if we could have a little space. We'll just leave them alone, and we could just start digging. Maybe we could have our base.
Man, come take my land again? No.
Pay up.
Pay man. You water.
I think is a good valid point here. What is to be done? We do know there is something going on. To the extent, no, we don't know. The high places don't know. Shit, even the president doesn't know. Even a quarter, if that, of what the hell is really going on. There is so much secrecy, so many lies, and the depth of it is unimaginable at this point. There are so many things in the unseen and the seen world that we just understand, and it's kind of we're on a wave right now, and basically how it works is how are we going to ride that wave?
Riding the wave. It's freaking because we can't win if we decide to do that. This is why I'm so like firmly against prepping.
All right, I'm back.
Unless you're national freaking weather phenomena or something. But if you're prepping for shit hits the fan, that's like accepting defeat.
Well, it's kind of crazy because I've seen a lot of the people, the shows that they produce where they prep, and they show different versions. Is that they're all prepping for different reasons. They're all kind of it's really about like now, like they're whatever they're prepping for is happening now. It's already happened, and they're doing it as if it already happened. So every day they're living like it already happened. So they're not really living life anymore.
Well, yeah, a lot of them have mental issues. Like there was this one guy.
It's about what they do to their children and stuff. You know what I mean? Their whole family's involved.
Yeah, but you got to realize majority of these people are fantasy warriors. Fantasy warriors are those people.
Some of them are former military.
Yeah, fantasy warriors too. You know what I mean? It's like they think that they're gonna go out in some heroic like burst of fire with an American flag wrapped around their necks, like with a freaking minigun, and they like die.
Hard. Here now, it's like they basically qualify them. They're like, oh, you people don't exist anymore because we're focused on our family and that's it. And
they become to the public.
Yeah, exactly.
Freaking weird. The thing is, you got to have a fine balance between all, and that's the thing. That's why the government continues to do what they do, because they know everything, and we know only pieces. And it's like, you could become a fantasy warrior and stock up on like 50,000 cans of Spam and have a shitload of bullets. And then the sucky part is when you got to leave home, you probably can only comfortably carry 40 pounds.
Well, view is what they give us, so we have to go by, what's out there. And obviously, the powers that be leave stuff out there, like breadcrumbs for us to find.
No, they leave breadcrumbs for us to go in a different direction.
That's right.
Remember what I said. People feel comfortable when they find stuff on their own accord.
Yeah, but you have to get through the bullshit to get to the real stuff.
Look at this.
There's obstacles, but once you get better at it, you start going through the obstacles. Like I've already seen that before. You know what I mean? You start seeing what's an obstacle. You know what I mean? You start seeing, especially when I'm seeing the news. I can't even watch the news anymore because I'll sit there and talk to the TV like I'm a crazy person.
Oh yeah, dude. I can't watch stuff with my family. They'd be like, "Shut up! Hillary Clinton's a psychopath, man. What are you guys listening to?" I know what you mean, bro. But I was saying that everything on the internet is put there, so don't think you found anything.
I don't.
Not just you. I'm just talking to you.
I know that it's research essentially is someone else's research. It's like someone else like put that there. It's all about sources with me.
Yeah,
I'm about going to the source. Everybody's always mirroring things, you know what I mean? Like taking this and then putting it somewhere else. So you have to kind of go to the original mirror, when it was first, to find the original source.
That's where you want to find stuff out. You don't believe how much people talk. I was figuring stuff out when I was on base. I would just ask people shit. And they would just because they want to talk about it. They did. All you have to do is ask people. Would you rather ask somebody who works in there? Like everybody says, oh, Masons, they eat babies and worship and they're all bad. I don't eat babies. You know what I mean? I never participated in any weird ritual.
It's more of a obscure version of what the internet has like turned the Masonic culture into.
It's spookism. Exactly,
but it's sensationalism in a sense, but like almost like to make movies and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you look at Eyed Shut and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because there's definitely like a sensational aspect to secrecy.
Yeah. It's like if they're doing good, what could they be hiding? You know what I mean? Type shit. And it's like people get caught up in there. They read some books put out by some guy, by some aliens, shapeshifters from sea monkey, and it's like, wow, the stuff people. I mean,
You mean like
freaking Scientology all the way. Yeah, it's like, dude, people don't realize that a lot of these people are just making money. They're just making money, and then they might be spitting the truth, but they might really believe what they're saying. But that doesn't mean it's right and exact, and that you should be listening to it. You get what I'm saying? People think, somebody said, was it that guy, he lost his mind? I want to say Friedrich Nietzsche. I think he said, confidence is the enemy of truth, or some shit like that. Or, you know, but I say confidence is the enemy of right and exact. Because someone tells you with confidence that this is what they believe happened and this is what they know to happen, then you're going to take it as the holy truth. And it's, you know what I mean?
Well, that depends. Like, it depends on the actor that's confidently portraying that to you. You know, it's like if they're just reading a script, but they're not looking like they're reading a script, or you just like basically turn a blind eye about them reading the script, like most people do when they're watching the news. It's like, I mean, when I talk to people and I'm like, you know that they're not really talking from their perspective, right? This isn't their opinion. This isn't, you know what I mean? And these people like portray something. They're like, oh, well, I like that person, so therefore I believe in what they're telling me. But in actuality, they're not really telling them anything. They're just reading a script and writing and portraying whatever they want to you.
Yeah, the world's a twisted place, man. The worst thing we can do is pretend like we know. Because, I mean, I find out stuff every day just how bad shit has gotten. I mean, I bumped into some people like that I have just recently met that are of an alternate sexual lifestyle. And just the way that they believe things are is so crazy. Like, they don't believe that there's a gay meant to turn people into homosexuals and lesbians. So they
don't look over here. Nothing to see. Nothing to see at all.
You can turn somebody into a homosexual or a lesbian. Like, and this gets me because I can sit here and say something to somebody and have their mind.
It's not a choice. It's like you're born with it.
So no, you're not. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, the reason why people are birth control is the reason why people are gay. They've proven it and they've figured out a cure for it. For Pete's sake, people are genetically dispositioned. Has a dick and a woman has a pussy. And
yeah, it has nothing to do.
Yeah, a dick and an ass has nothing to do with each other.
It's a choice, and you know.
Thank you. I mean, come on.
It's a choice, man. You think animals are sitting back having this discussion? You think a dog's looking at another dog like? You think, ooh, I want to get to that butt. You know?
Well, yeah, it's like that. I'm bisexual, so I see like both directions, and I've
how the fuck does that happen?
Both
no
worlds.
offense. I just don't understand how a man can be with a man and then be with a woman. That just boggles my mind.
Well, you know, it's like I said, I was born with it. It wasn't like I chose.
Well, ask this question: did your mom actually take birth control within the 5 years that you were conceived? If that's the case, that's why people have more of a predisposition.
I've never asked them that.
Answer that question because that's generally the reason right there. The main reason.
Tied after I was born.
Mm-hmm. So it's been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Strange baby. I was like a 10-pounder. I came out like 20 days late.
Birth control. And within 5 years of stopping taking birth control to conceive a child, that child years is going to have higher levels of estrogen bombarding that baby than a woman that did not take control. This is something that the medical community doesn't even want anybody to know here in the States. They don't want anybody to understand this. And it changes the brain chemistry slightly and alters the perception of that child because of the brain chemistry to see the same sex as being attractive.
And then on top of that, breastfeeding, they're giving the kids this fucking shit from China that they don't know what the fuck's in.
Yeah. I mean, why did Putin like outlaw birth control? Why did he outlaw homosexuality? Why do they actually women that were on birth control that conceived? The doctors would give them injections to ensure that they were balanced out in their brain before the damage was done to later on, if it's gone, you can't reverse it. But when that baby is born, they can correct it, figured out a way to correct it. It is a man-made problem caused by men in high places with evil intent. It's all there is to it. And in some cases, I think it's an out and outright choice, like you said. It's an actual choice. Somebody says, I want to try this because I'm curious. So they try. Just like, there's people out there that like to eat their own excrement for whatever reason. It's a choice.
Yeah, some people, I've seen a lady on TV that eats, what does she eat?
No, because people I've come across that have tried and failed, and it's definitely
tried and failed. What the hell? How do you try homosexuality and fail?
I don't know. They're straight, let's say,
How do you now? That's what you know what I mean?
Thank you.
You're
right. What's to say rapist? A rapist that rapes somebody is probably most likely going to continue doing it until they finally bring themselves down by getting too prideful. It becomes, when you do something, you become more addicted to it, just like anything, like a fat chicken bonbons. Okay?
Yes, but there's people who can't get other people off, and that whole perception stops them from.
You said it right there. Perception. Thank you very much.
And a lot of this stuff is how people were raised. I saw that dominating the father, or if the father isn't there, and they wake up seeing the mother do mother things all day, they relate more to a woman. So the energy is off balance. So they need a masculine energy, so more than they need a female energy, because they're bombarded with female energy to the point that they're producing female energy. So the quickest way for them to get male energy is to play with a male.
Yep. That is also very possible.
It's one trick pony. It's a lot of ways to shit works.
I have no problems, nor do I judge anybody in that category, because it's not my job to judge people.
Yeah, me too. There's more chicks for me, so hey, do what you want to do.
I'm not gonna look at anybody else any differently. I mean, shit, I'll be their best friend. I don't give a shit. I'll just tell them what I think, and then that's about it. I'll leave it at that.
I don't know about the best thing.
I mean, it's not my job to judge in this world.
But I mean, hey, to each his own. I wouldn't have told nobody that shit, though. I would have kept that shit to myself, just because we're on YouTube,
That's all right.
No, I'm not talking. I'm talking about fear.
Whatever.
I don't give a fuck.
He said,
Now, see what you did? You told him about it. Now he's gonna make fun of you, Fear. Come on.
No, I love you, Fear. You're good. You're intelligent, so you're good in my book. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know what I noticed though, when I talked to a friend, I wouldn't say a friend, but an associate about this, and he's a homosexual, and he doesn't believe in the gay agenda, but he believes in all the other agendas. Okay, you don't want to believe that there's an agenda to make you the way you are, but you're gonna believe that there's an agenda that's making everybody else the way that they are. That is so fucking interesting.
That is bizarre. That's just absolutely bizarre.
You see what we're fighting against?
Everything but this one thing. Everything else but this one thing.
Yeah, I naturally like to eat my boogers and and sniff bird. It's like
hey, don't even start knocking booger eating.
How do you guys explain a Bohemian Club? Or the Bohemian Grove and that whole connection, because those people are supposedly straight and yet they go and do.
Yeah, they willfully go homosexual for a little while.
Yeah, because it's the power.
Yeah.
They're trading. Look,
they're trading power.
Yeah.
Energy.
And then the whole thing about them getting power behind a sexual act like that, they're going to continue to do it, because if they believe that they are getting power, this is why you have the thing where people are raping.
Isn't that called the left hand sex magic? When it's left hand path sex magic, homosexuality, right hand path sex magic, heterosexuality.
Yeah, that's why you know. Hey, hold on 1 second. Let me mute the mic right quick. Hold on, I gotta answer something.
He's getting in trouble, man.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
I wanted to go into the martial law thing, how the martial law connection people were trying to draw, and and I wanted to show how that kind of made sense to me because of the what happened in Baltimore with the week-long curfew, which essentially is martial law without the military. I mean, without the full military.
I know, it's just a whole bunch of CIA agents out there dressed in plain clothes.
That shit happened. It started on social media. You know, that was on social media. They're using this shit look. They're telling.
You're
people,
right. Didn't they track that down? That tweet? They tracked it down to a government agency. It was like a contracted government agency that started out that whole shit with that tweet, with all those tweets. That kicked off that shit.
This is an ant farm, and they're figuring out ways to control the ants. Okay.
Yeah. Why do they call us sheeple?
Because we need to be led.
That's what they think.
So another part of this whole thing is people are putting together the idea that, and this is based on like articles and shit. There's some sort of Russian takeover with connecting with the what do you call it, and that's really what this training operation is all about.
How do you forget what they're called?
The Mexicans. Anyway, so what that made me think when I put that together, it was like movie references. You can go back Red Dawn, right? Because that was essentially the Cubans and the Russians, or not the Russians, the USSR at the time.
It was Cubans, Nicaraguans, and Russians.
I just want to say.
But back then it was the USSR because that was.
No, actually in the original Red Dawn there were Cubans, Nicaraguans, and Russians.
You know, it's funny. Every time I hear USSR, I think of Zangief from Street Fighter.
No, USSR stopped running. Stopped working, and it became
that would be 89.
Okay, and when was this movie?
84, I think.
Okay, there you have it. See, the USSR was still in running while the movie was being played.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
I'm saying basically Red Dawn is being played out in real life, in a way. Through this
maybe
operation.
I think it was them showing us one of their plans that they might possibly use.
But
then they decided not to.
But then they redid Red Dawn
with North Korea.
With North Korea, exactly, and the Cubans, right?
No, the Cubans weren't involved. It was just the North Koreans.
No, it was some sort of break off of the North Koreans. It wasn't just the North Koreans. It was like North Koreans with somebody.
Don't get lost in the minutia. Don't get lost in the minutia.
Anyways, the point being is that is essentially another way of portraying it before they decide to do it. It was ahead of time, and we're putting that together with what's really going on with the military associated with Russia and the military associated with the Mexicans.
Actually,
whether or not they're connecting each other.
These things are connected because there are no coincidences ever. All right, but it's basically telling you what they might do. What they might do.
Yeah, in a world where secrecy runs everything, don't think that you're going to find out what's going on.
Shit, the people that are doing this shit don't even know what's going on.
You know, think of the truth. Think of right and exact as we're more familiar with truth. Think of truth as an F-16, and there's a missile coming to find out that truth. What does the F-15 do? It drops a bunch of the missile into thinking that, you know what I mean?
It drops a bunch of flares to trick people in Phoenix to think that there's
that it's the Phoenix lights in the sky.
That's right. They saw it.
I seen that shit. That wasn't no flares.
Did they take you up and probe you?
No. I'm telling you. No, I'm just telling you. That wasn't flares. I'm not saying that it wasn't something else. I'm just saying it wasn't flares.
Oh, he's a crazy UFO nut now.
Oh,
Flares don't fall like that. And then when flares, they have tails.
No, I've seen flares. They could be some sort of like that you can like actually, think of a flare on
now you have to prove
on like
that
a
they
helicopter.
No, I get you.
They were butterflies.
And then it would stay people. All you'd see is just the flare. If the helicopter's.
But anyway.
Well, a flare. No, what I'm saying is you can't introduce stuff into an argument and prove that it exists. So when you said, let's just imagine it's a high-tech flare, you can't do that because I studied debates.
No, not a high-tech flare, like a high-tech operation where they use flares, but they don't show what the flare is on. So say like the flare is on a helicopter, it's a black helicopter, so therefore you can't hear it. And there's no lights on it. So all you're seeing is the flare that's like connected to it.
You can even hear a Night Stalker.
Not at that height. I don't think. Nah. They're like they've
got some
really
stealth
low
technology now.
Yeah.
They got some silence. Yeah,
They're
you
silent.
can barely hear the bastards.
Well, the thing is, you hear them breaking the sound barrier, and that's why when you hear the helicopter, and you look straight up thinking it's above you. No, that's the sound. The helicopter's way ahead, or the plane's way ahead. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing moved in unison, and it moved essentially with the background. So you're able to like see when they went. They didn't go out. They just went behind the background.
Okay. Let's continue on what we're talking about, because we're gonna go off. We just keep
go
going
off, man.
We'll do that. We'll go around and around and come back. Okay, so basically what I was trying to say before was the Russian connection with the Mexican connection. Somehow, for some reason, they're combining or something, and the Russians are supposedly going to be dropping off in the same locations that the Jade Helm locations are.
Oh, actually, you know what? I forgot to mention.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Listen, what's the word I want to use? The war with each other like that. You don't put men on the ground. First you destroy the economy, then you destroy the infrastructure, then you destroy the grid.
Actually, now you destroy their minds.
Oh yeah, you destroy their minds and their morale. You make them not want to fight. You make them fight each other, and
you make them hate their own country. So when you roll.
So like they're bringing in all these special ops people, they're putting them next door to you, and they're not telling you who they are.
Look, I don't care what you.
That makes you fear everybody around you.
You know why it's so easy for America to invade other countries?
And then you just start questioning everybody. You're like, oh, are you the person that they brought in?
But we shouldn't even entertain that. That is so
and then it's a
far-fetched.
witch hunt. Then it's a witch hunt.
It's so far-fetched, though. That's like...
It's not far-fetched. It's where it's going.
It is. You think drop down with their heavy accents and vodka?
No. Someone else I came across.
American. My name is John.
Something about you know how Haplo. You were talking about how military officials generally won't go against other military officials like that are former like vets and what. Right? Like they won't.
Because you're told to respect the rank, not the person.
So even if they're told to, like by their official, right? They're told, hey, I want you to put a bullet in his head.
It's a culture,
like your friend was saying.
Well,
like your friend was saying, they have to really seriously be psychologically.
So that's why they have the UN trucks, because that's when they'll bring in the UN. Is when according to this guy, not me. Listen. I'm not talking about this.
They don't have to do that. Is what I'm saying. They're winning, so they don't have to go drastic and risk losing it all.
Yeah.
No, but if the military fights back, the actual vets that are trained,
but they don't have weaponry.
They do have the weaponry. You don't think
they have They have semi-automatic weapons. One pull, one trigger. Okay, if you have a Class 3 license, I was a professional shooter at once upon a time. If you have to have a Class 3 license to have an automatic weapon. Okay, that means that when you get that Class 3 license, the contract saying that I surrender my rights. The government can come and check my house at any time to make sure that I have that weapon in a safe and locked away, and that I still have that weapon, right? So you're using semi-autos. They can't shoot into the freaking skies. And how are you going to go to war with people who make your fucking ammunition? Are you serious? You can have all the stockpiles you want. You can't run out your front door with that shit.
Well, in my perception, I think they're all in cahoots in the first place, and it's all a big game they're playing with us, like for us to see, like it's confusion. So we react. It's about reaction.
It's confusion.
It's about reaction.
It's another
they want us to react, and this is what our reaction is currently. And so they're seeing what our reaction is going to be afterwards, like once they actually implement what they say they're going to in July. But I think that it's already started, and it started in Texas. This is one of the events in the what happened in the Garland. I mean, that's my own personal,
I can tell you this: they do a lot of stuff just because they need to ping the system to see what how people respond to things. That's why Twitters and all that shit. People leave that stuff alone.
Yeah, that's Bad news, man.
That's you basically telling. I see. You guys remember? You guys have. I've never seen so much racism in the world until after that Floyd Mayweather fight. Twitter, well, like you see everything hashtag Mayweather nigger. You know,
Yeah.
everybody was like that nigger ran around the whole ring the whole time.
All right.
I mean, everybody came out.
You hit on something there. I want to interject here. It's psychologically, the warfare has been, enacted on the people. They have declared war psychologically on their own people. That's what's going on. And what we have now is a state of confusion. We don't live in a state of we know what's going on. Most of the people don't even know the first part of the Constitution, let alone any of it. I have somebody that is actually walking down the street that is acting their Second Amendment rights and carrying a firearm. People will walk down the street and yell at them and call them a racist because they're carrying a firearm, which is then, and they have their permit, they have every right to do so. But people will say they're racist. Why? Because they have been psychologically programmed to look at anybody with a gun that doesn't have a badge or a military uniform.
You're like automatically a terrorist.
And they're automatically something. But a lot of times here in the States, for freedom or something, they will turn on somebody that's carrying a firearm because themselves have been programmed. They think that there's something wrong with it. We have so many deep facets of this mental programming going on. People don't even know they've been programmed. They're so deep into it, they don't even know, and they think they're out. It's kind of like the Matrix. You know what? Neo thought he was out, but shit, they still weren't out. They were still being controlled.
I want to make a confession to my programming. I was at Walmart and I saw a white woman, and she had a white baby, and the first thing popped in my head is, oh, she must be a racist.
Thank you very much. That's exactly. Those are the things we have to shed.
Yeah,
we have to start. If you want to be free, you got to start within yourself, your
you gotta
mind.
break your own programming.
Yeah,
and that's right. And you got to realize what is programming and not programming.
Yeah, I said that because
that's
I've
part
seen
of the
so
research.
much.
The research helps you break that.
I said that because I've seen so much interracial relations that, like, if I just see somebody who has like a solid one background child, it's like they must not like black people, or they must be a closet racist. It's just, dude, you don't realize the shit's working on you until it works on you, dude. I walked to the store like 3 months ago, and I had my headphones on. I was listening to some show. I walked out in the fucking street. I didn't even have the fucking the light. The walk sign. I walked out in the middle of the street, and then when I realized what I was doing, I looked like a dope addict because I was confused as fuck. Like, I was trying to run on one side, then run to the next side. I was like, I felt stupid.
Yeah, that's why I mean, really, why? The big question I got, and actually I wanted to throw this in there. There is speculation that there is in Mexico, across the border from Texas, ISIS-type training camps. There's a compound in New York as well, upstate New York, where the FBI knows about these places and Homeland Security, and they don't mess with them. They are training people, and they have weapons, and they are Islamic militants, and they're around. It's happening. This is also another part of the big thing. And why is it that people that say they stand on the Constitution are now the enemy? Why is there a war on anybody that would quote anything from the Constitution being a bad guy? Why does all major media now make it a mind crime to think that the Constitution is a good thing?
Because they want to make people forget about it.
Thank you. I asked the question before, but yes.
I'm gonna hold on. Let me ask my niece right quick. She's in ROTC. Hey, sweetheart. Can you quote me anything from the Constitution?
The Constitution?
Yes.
Like the Declaration of Independence?
Anything.
No.
Okay, she just said. Okay, break down. No, watch this.
We the people.
Hold on. Watch this. Break down the chain of command from the president. She knows this.
Okay. The President, Honorable Barack Obama,
Honorable Barack Obama. Okay.
The Vice President, Joe Biden.
Honorable Joe Biden.
The Secretary of State, Honorable John Kerry.
Honorable John Kerry, Secretary of State. Keep going.
The Secretary of Honorable
Okay, who's ahead of the Air Force?
the head. I don't know.
You don't know? Oh, you're so. I helped you study this, and you don't know?
The head?
Oh,
Yeah.
snap.
Like, what do you mean by that?
Like, okay, after Secretary of State, who's in control? Come on, I'm talking to my friends. You got to make me look good.
Secretary of Defense.
Secretary of Defense. Okay, after that, who's next?
Secretary of the Air Force.
Okay, never mind. Look, she knows. When did they start calling Barack Obama and the Vice President the Honorable?
I know that makes it sound like royalty, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I will give you a breakdown. To remove the Constitution is the first step, which is something that's been a pre-planned idea that's been put into motion and is rolling right now. And now what we have is what's called Common Core education in our school system. And what Common Core is mirrors what was being taught to children in the Soviet Union and in China. What is being taught to, and even military personnel, I'm sorry to say it, they are being taught and indoctrinated in socialism, communism.
Yep.
That is what's going on.
You don't have to remove the Constitution. You just got to make people forget about it.
You forget about it, it goes away. If nobody knows that they have rights, they will never act on them.
You know what's crazy? You guys remember Chris Dorner, right?
Yeah. The guy that got they hunted down with the fucking drone.
Yeah. Okay. Now, can anyone name the guy who came before him that did something like that?
Yeah, the in the Brandon, or the guy that leaked it to WikiLeaks, they showed that the drone took down these people that had cameras, and the
Reuters.
and they thought they thought
No,
they were
that was
actually guns.
that was I think it was a Hellfire helicopter or some shit like that, or that was a helicopter battleship that did that, and they knew they were just having fun from their point, you know. What I'm
Well,
saying
it looked
is,
like they were playing a video game in a way, like the way they were talking.
yeah.
When you hear them.
I'll tell you this, that they hit us with so much. It's just over.
Yeah.
Hey, is it true from your perspective, their view, that they actually use video game programming, realistic training for actual events, kind of like they did with, if you want to foreshadow an idea, like think of the movie, where the
Ender's Game.
Thank you. Yeah, Ender's Game.
Affirmative.
Well, yeah. I mean, you gotta realize what happened.
Like, I mean, are the people that are there, are they aware that they're, like, you know, killing people, and they're actually doing, like, a training kind of thing? Like, I mean, is that really going on?
No, they don't.
They're doing it. Listen, sorry for saying listen. I apologize for that. It's kind of rude. Listen, sorry. Damn it, I did it again.
That was hilarious.
See, now I just prepped you, so now you're gonna listen.
You must have your own programming. Yeah, I follow other people's, things they say over and over again. I'll tell you what you say over and over again.
So, check it out. When you play these games, you get into a different state of mind. You know how, like, when kids play the games and they don't realize how much time has passed, and when every time you come in, you see them to the screen. You know.
Yeah, like Minecraft has its own, time frame. So if you're sitting there and then Minecraft is going, like you see the sun going over and over again, you're thinking there's different time, and then you're looking at the clock, you're like, well, wait, that's different. And you have a whole different time frame.
The same thing. I don't know if you guys ever played. You guys played it or heard of it?
I don't play games anymore.
Yeah, I don't really play. Yeah, I play seldom. I seldom play, but I do every once in a while.
It's a guy called Mr. House.
I'm more so trying to pick apart games nowadays. They seem to put a lot of programming in it, like kind of subconscious programming, if you will, like in the backgrounds or like on the characters or things like that, like where you're not really paying attention. It's subconsciously getting into you.
Oh, have you seen the movie Focus with Will Smith?
A person like us, then you kind of like look beyond that, and as you're playing the game, you're like, whoa, go to the things and you start looking deeper and you're like, wait a minute, what's that? And on the backgrounds and like looking behind stuff. Really weird. What'd you say?
Have you seen the movie
No, not yet. No, I'm not into those types of movies. But that
No,
like programming.
Never say that. Watch that movie because he breaks down how mind control works.
All right, well I'll check it out.
That's what the whole movie's about. It's about.
Yeah.
He's
well,
a
that's
gambler.
what I got from it. It was definitely like one of those, you know, like trying to tell you stuff type of things. But like lesser magic style, lesser magic shit.
Yeah, that guy. His movies have some good meanings behind some of them. His son, one with his son, and the one in Focus have great like meanings. Like they have great messages in them, but you know, it's with a bunch of craziness.
Yeah.
But no, never say you don't do something. That's the worst thing you can do is exclude something because you feel so a certain way about it emotionally. I say definitely look at everything except like reality TV. Well, sometimes you got it just to see what people are attached to. But you know what I noticed with reality TV?
That's what I do. I watch stuff to see what people are attached to and what they're pushing, because I don't I've grown beyond the understanding of characters and all that these days. Like try to kind of associate to communicate with people and stuff, you know, like because that's what they talk about.
You know, I feel like sorry.
Go ahead.
I feel like they're basically pushing everything to one state of mind, one way that people behave. You know what I mean? Like
it's called the hive mind.
Yeah. One way of thinking, one way of behaving, and that's what all this stuff is doing. It's merging a personality, and it's like the best way to control people is to make people take the control from people. You know,
you've seen Star Trek, right? When they had the Borg.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of how I envision things. It's how they want it, and they want there's a book.
The Borg. I was thinking the Borg when you said hive mind.
All right. There's a book from way back in the day. I think from the 70s. But I've read it many times, and there's several different parts of it. But the one I remember the most is called A Wrinkle in Time. And you read that book, these kids actually get sucked through the and they go. Their father was working on this high-end government project, and he disappears. The kids go to find him, and they other reality where everybody in this reality is literally, it's almost, I mean, you get the sense of reading it, you're visualizing, almost like kind of like a Naziistic hive mind collective, and they go around trying to figure out why everybody is acting the same, doing the same thing. People on the block go out and mow their lawn and go in the same style, they'll drive the same direction, go to where everything's in tune and in sync, and when they finally get down to it, there's this giant brain, kind of like computer, that literally is hooked up to everybody wirelessly, controlling them, and it's the hive mind collective where everybody's in that, and that is what the whole thing's about, and how they escaped that, and it's a very interesting concept. But that's kind of what I see, people looking at communism, things like that, with the socialist aspect. That's what they're driving towards. Through the technology, the fusing of or man and machine, through all of that, they want a hive collective type where you are controlled by one central system with some one thing in charge, and that's it. And that's what I was discovering is what was called in the Morals and Dogma when I wanted to find out what the Luciferian doctrine was. And that's pretty much it. That's what it comes down to, is the pure Luciferian doctrine is that. And it's directed that way.
Take off for the evening, sadly, and it's all the time we have. But I want you to go ahead and give your final thoughts of the evening. I don't know, whoever wants to go, and then I'll give mine, and then do my music, and then it's great having you.
Well,
thanks for coming in, and what do you call it? Like, thanks for sharing your information. It's a very interesting talk, and I'm not gonna do a continuation next week. I'm gonna see how this kind of continues out, you know, like as we get further and further on, and you know, as more and more happens, I'm gonna keep doing research and keep my all the articles and keep them all in line so we can do a future show on or whatever podcast on what we find out and what has happened since now. You see what I mean? Because like I only had those the Walmarts closing, the deaths of the found at the Walmarts, and the bases connected to the deaths, guy, and then the actual Jade Helm itself, like what the meetings are, the connections to on tunnels, whether or not there's any reasoning to that, all these military operations that have been going on in different locations, possible locations that are scheduled, and I wanted to show the events that are shown in the Texas and Utah, and I wanted to relate that to the data center because that seems very important considering that's the thing that's probably going to create the matrix.
I want to say this quick. Remember, people, nothing you do is secret. They know all the porn you look at. They know all the drugs you do. They know all the stuff you research. So don't be surprised when you think you found freedom, and freedom has not found you.
Okay. Is that your final thought?
Oh, no. Also, the reptilians are coming. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
Well, I basically am thinking right now of the terms of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the "Don't panic" quote. Everything's gonna be all right. It's not all falling right now. It's respectable to be insightful and look outside of the box. Continue doing so. Don't be led down paths that do not lead anywhere. Be able to see and learn how to see the things that are thrown in your path as a stumbling to keep an individual from seeing the truth. What the definition of truth is generally the thing that people are looking for. What is truth? The philosophical question that's been asked for millennia. What is truth? What is the reality? What is right? What is instead of truth? What is it that you use? Right and exact.
Right and exact.
I mean, that's not too far off either. Truth, right and exact. What is? Is it ever changing? The questions are endless. Why are we? What are we supposed to be, and what is our destiny? What is the truth behind all of that? Don't ever be afraid, but always realize we are living in a world of lies, and we must have to find our way through that ocean of lies to breathe a little bit of air of truth.
Awesome. And to me, it does seem a little bit like an adventure to go through the research of other people and to kind of piece together each other's research, because I've seen that sometimes people are so focused on their own research they don't see so I'm kind of trying to be one of those people that does see the connection, able to put together a kind of formulation that can be produced in a way where we can discuss it together and kind of perspectives, I guess, and see what comes out of it, because instead of just the news perspective or seeing the people around us that have no idea because they're not doing research and they're just believing the news, then we're able to actually communicate with people that are doing those types of things, like that guy Doom that came on earlier. He actually is doing the research that I'm like portraying like a lot, like I go through his research and I go through other people's that he references, and I go through other people that in that area, because it's kind of like a wave, and you catch on to the right wave, you kind of like you keep the area of where you were, so then you don't get like sidetracked too far. If you get too far, you can still go back to where you originally started, and therefore you don't lose information. Once you find the source, try to save it somehow, it's best to put it on like a freaking bookmark or something so you can use it when you're doing some sort of live production and show people in something like that. Or you're on somebody else's and they ask you to show your stuff, something like that. So in closing, it was great to have. Thank you to the viewers. Thank you to the chat. Thank you Haplo. Thank you you. Thank you Clunk and
Word.
and
Bring up my old days.
And Anon 2150. With that,
All right.
peace out. I'm gonna put on the music. You guys have a good day, and I'll see you next Thursday, hopefully, if you're around.
Enjoy. Have a good one.
Peace. And remember, do your research. Look for the sources.